you very much, and good morning, everyone. As James said, a fantastic venue for this morning's event. And when I was trying to think up a title, I sort of came up with, gaining competitive advantage by reaching consumers at the moments that most influence their decisions. And I think this very much fits with the sort of life cycle marketing that we're trying to do. So just for those people who may not have heard of Econsultancy, hopefully you all have, we're really about trying to help businesses achieve digital excellence through their business, their marketing, their e-commerce. And as you can see, a range of services that we offer, so you can subscribe to have access to all our resources, great reports, best practice guides. Also have consultancy services, really trying to help you digitally transform in today's world. Also offering training courses, really to sort of help you, you and your colleagues progress. And it's all about events and networking as well. So just a small bit about who we are as Econsultancy. And I just really wanted to open with this quote. So these were some consultants at McKinsey's. And this is going back to 2009. But they said, well, if marketing has one goal, it's to reach consumers at the moments that most influence their decisions. And as I said, that very much sort of influenced my theme for today. But I just feel this is still what we're trying to do in 2016. The challenge we've got now is that the moments have multiplied, and it's even more challenging to try and reach our consumers. So just to touch on, we have lots of challenges trying to connect to our digitally empowered consumers. So we've now got the average household has about 7 internet-enabled devices, so lots of ways that people can be engaging with your brand, and trying to actually track those consumers is a challenge across the different ones. We've also got the customer journey itself has become more complex as well. And again, McKinsey's looked at 1,000 brands, and just with those brands, they found 20,000 different customer journeys. And what they were seeing is that each year we're now seeing the number of digital touch points increase by about 20%. And what they concluded was that, it's now become so much more complex customer journeys, lots of challenges. Customers can drop out the purchase process quite easily and go to one of your competitors. So for them, they very much felt it's the brands that can really deliver those strong digital experiences are going to be the ones that succeed. Then we've now got, everyone's got their mobile phones, they're connected, so, they're now making their minds up about a brand when they've got a question or a need, or they actually, when they want something. And Google calls this the 0 moment of truth. And what they said is it's going to be those brands that can answer those questions. So whether it's when the consumer gets their website, whether it's via search, they're going to be the ones that succeed. So it all comes back to we've got to be delivering the right message, the right time, and in the right channel. And just sort of put up some sort of stats that sort of scale of retail sales as well. And this came out in Digital High Street Report 2020. And it said more than 150 billion retail sales are now influenced by digital. And that retailers whose services don't meet consumers' expectations, stand to lose more than 12 billion a year. So, there's huge challenges there in terms of getting it right, but, huge opportunities as well. So what we're now seeing is, this whole pressure on how can we meet customers' expectations and how can we really deliver that great customer experience. And we carry out a survey with our subscribers every year, our digital trends survey. And this is just looking at, we had 7,000 respondents, but this is just looking at results from retailers for the sort of audience today. And top, by no surprise, was optimizing the customer experience. And this, I did a report this year on digital transformation in retail, and this is really coming out as a sort of key theme. How can we really optimize the customer experience? Previous year, it'd been at sort of 23%. So, it's just increasing in importance for sort of retailers as well. Below that, we see this whole sort of focus moving to data-driven marketing as well, and I'll sort of come on to that a bit more. But it's not just ourselves talking about customer experience. You've got the likes of Forrester. So they were saying 2016, it's going to be one of the top 10 critical success factors, determining who's going to win, who's going to fail. So everybody is really sort of pushing home about sort of customer experience. We also carried out a report last year on customer experience optimization. So we wanted to sort of find out with our subscribers, what are some of the challenges? What do you see of the benefits then if you start optimizing the customer experience? And as you can see, so 94% were sort of saying higher engagement and conversion rates. With 2/3 talking about it's going to give us better brand perception and loyalty. and then half saying, well, the great opportunity to get them to renew, cross-sell and upsell, which, you know, very much fits with what you're trying to do from a sort of life cycle point of view as well. And I just want to sort of highlight certainly one of the brands that I interviewed for the report, but we've talked a lot about on our blogs. Don't know how many people have used AO.com. Anyone in the room sort of bought something from them, sort of washing machine, cooker? We've had 2 appliances go wrong, so I had 2 of theirs at the moment. Hopefully the third one won't. But they are a great brand in terms of joining up the customer journey between different devices. Really sort of linking up when you're going to get something delivered, you get all those messages, sort of mobile phone. But I think just from a digital experience, you know, they've really got that focus on the customer. And they're very much about, you know, why come to AO.com, and they highlight their sort of USPs throughout the whole site. It's all about trying to make the experience really easy for the customer as well. So, you know, they've got great search facilities, you can find what you want easily, but they know they haven't got a shop for someone to go into. So they're really trying to explain, you know, if I'm buying a fridge, how many bags of shopping can I fit in, those sorts of things. You know, they're then sort of emphasising the customer endorsements as well. So over 1 million happy customers, and that's through Trustpilot. And they'll bring in those endorsements so you can see, you know, what are customers saying about our products, how they're reviewing it. But I think what I particularly liked, when I interviewed them for the report, I thought, wow, you know, their culture sounds amazing, you know. Surely everybody up in sort of Manchester wants to work for them. And I interviewed for one of our blogs as well. And I think what's interesting is that the person who looks after the AO.com brand also looks after recruitment. So they're very much focused on, you know, it's all about our culture. We need to make sure we've got the right people and we're hiring the right people to sort of fit with our culture. And they even talk about AO.com DNA. But I think, you know, what's interesting, if you take one of their values there, you know, they're very much about genuine people care, and you can't pay people to care. So, you know, for them, it's about if we're going to deliver that right customer experience, we need to make sure we've got the right people that care about our brand as well. And it's all about, you know, they're trying to make the experience easy for the customer, and they're really sort of trying to make sure people can find what they want. So I thought I'd just show you, it's a quick video, but just sort of shows the type of experience that you don't really want to be delivering to your customers.
Hello, just after semi-skimmed milk.
Your search for semi-skimmed milk returned 0 results.
We don't sell milk.
Your search for milk returned 52,256 results. Your top hit, milk of magnesia.
No.
Milk floats of yesteryear.
No.
This milk-themed family wall planner.
No, sorry, I'm just looking for, you know, normal milk.
Couldn't find what you were looking for.
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't find it, so I'm asking you if you could...
Advanced search.
All right, let's do this. Keyword, now, go.
Yeah, okay. Milk.
Please narrow your search by using one of the following filters. Kayaks, pack of 12, self-cleaning, breakfast and condiment.
That one. Breakfast.
1 result.
Milk, skimmed semi.
Semi-skimmed milk. That's what I first asked you for.
It's milk skimmed semi.
It is supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be as difficult about, you know, like that as well. So just a quick sort of example from sort of Google Analytics there. Can't have a presentation without referring to Amazon as well, but I think, you know, there's certainly been a brand right from the beginning that was all about, you know, analysing customer behaviour. How can we try and influence their sort of next actions as well? But I think what I particularly like, and I've got sort of 2 quotes from Jeff Bezos, but, you know, they've really talked about, you know, proactively delighting customers earns trust, which earns more business from those customers, even in new business arenas. So, you know, when you're thinking about that whole sort of life cycle marketing and how you sort of try and move people from one stage to another, it is very much about sort of earning their trust and trying to delight them. I think the other good thing is that, you know, they recognise they've got competition out there. People aren't just going to come to Amazon. So, you know, he's very much about, you know, we see customers as invited guests to a party. And we're the hosts, and it's our job every day to make every important aspect of the customer experience a little bit better. So, you know, it's that sort of recognition we've got to keep on improving the customer experience and really delighting our customers. So instead, I did a report this year, which there's a leaflet in sort of packs to download, a free copy. But it was looking at, you know, how are retailers meeting the challenges and sort of, you know, digitally transforming themselves. And one of the key themes that was coming out was this sort of customer experience. You know, we've got to be putting the customer at the heart of everything. So I just wanted to sort of pull out a few points that were coming out from that. So one of the key ones a lot of the retailers were talking about is you know, not to be solution-led and really focus on meeting customers' needs. So, you know, really trying to think, you know, what's the problem? What is it we're trying to sort of solve as well? And thinking about outcomes. So I think, you know, when everyone first started developing mobile apps, it was all, you know, we want these great features, but, you know, what's that customer goal that feature's trying to address? So, and I think I saw Debenhams talk about this a while ago, and they were very much sort of focused on what's the customer goals, and they're the features we need to put on the app to try and help them meet that. It is about, as AO.com shows you, you know, it's about keeping it simple, making sure people can easily do the things they should be able to do on your website. You know, find the products and can easily sort of pay and get, you know, getting the basics right. One of the things that Shu, the retailer, talked about, and a couple of the others, was, you know, looking at what's the best thing you can do for the customer. So they were very much about, you know, we don't just look at our competitors and see what they're doing. We really look at, you know, what's the fundamental problems for our customers? How can we make it better for them? And they've done some great things in their sort of store as well. You've got staff talking to customers all the time, whether it's on the sort of phones in the stores, so encouraging ideas from sort of staff. You know, retailers are really sort of emphasising that. Obviously, customer feedback, social media, they're constantly telling you what they think of products, and in surveys as well. But I also like this. I mean, I interviewed Asda, and there was very much this focus on how do we give the customer a seat in the boardroom so that someone is really speaking as the sort of voice of the customer. So I think there's some great things that were coming out of some of the sort of retailers on how they're trying to be more focused on the customer. Obviously, in order to do this, it's very much about, you know, how do we understand the interactions and the customer journey and between all the various channels. So, you know, in our digital trends survey, we asked, you know, what's the most important thing you'll be focusing on in terms of your digital marketing? And it is about how do we optimize the customer journey? And, you know, very much this whole sort of theme today in terms of life cycle marketing as well really sort of fits with that. So it is about, yeah, how do we understand the customer journey? How do we understand the touch points? I don't know if anyone's come across how Airbnb approached it. I've put a link, so if you do want to watch the video, you can. But what they sort of realised, the approach that they'd sort of taken in the past was, let's just stick up screens from the website of the customer journey. And they realised by actually storyboarding the different steps that the customer goes through, from first hearing about Airbnb to leaving a review, and also doing that for the sort of hosts, they recognised that they were sort of leaving out, they sort of hadn't taken account of what was happening offline as well. And there was lots of moments where they really weren't meeting customers' expectations and really delivering those sort of what they call wow moments. So they'd sort of followed this idea from how Walt Disney approached Snow White and turning that into a movie. So the idea of what's the pivotal points in the sort of story, and they took that approach with looking at their customers and sort of hosts. What it enabled them to really do, though, was have these sort of 15 frames of the customer experience for the customers and hosts. And then anything that they wanted to do in terms of delivering, they could then look back against this and prioritise it. Did it fit with where their priorities were? And it also enables anyone new joining the company to sort of understand, you know, what's the sort of focus. So they managed to get, I think it was a Pixar artist. I'm sure most companies here can't necessarily afford a professional cartoonist, but it was a sort of great way and a great approach, so worth looking at. But obviously then when you can start joining up these customer journeys, it's then about how do we match our campaigns to those. And we just released our Succeeding Omnichannel Age report, and as you can see, what we're sort of finding it, retailers are finding this the biggest challenge, with only sort of 5% saying that we can closely match campaigns and content to the customer journeys as well. And, you know, I think you've got that challenge more in retail because people are using lots of devices, they're researching, they're purchasing and moving around between channels as well. One of the ways we're seeing companies in sort of retail trying to bring the digital and physical together is by e-receipts. So, the likes of Mothercare, Monsoon, Argos, all sorts of companies, Shoe, are all doing it. Just an example from sort of Mothercare though. So within 6 weeks of launching their e-receipts, they had a bigger source of customer data than they'd got from their website. And just in 6 months, they managed to build a database of 650,000 active loyalty club members. So they'd managed to get due dates or even child's date of birth. This means that they can then start talking to these clients in these customers in a much more sort of personal way and start taking them on that sort of life cycle journey as well. So what we're certainly seeing Econsultancy is a lot, and when we talk to our subscribers, there's a lot more focus on, yes, how do we take the data we've got on our customers and how do we sort of deliver more data-driven marketing? And so one of the questions we asked in our digital trends survey was, well, okay, looking ahead, next 5 years, what's the most exciting opportunity? And it is very much about, yes, how do we now deliver this more personalised data-driven marketing? And also, we've got the sort of pressure that, your consumers know you have lots of data on them. So what was coming out of our real-time marketing report is that, consumers are now used to having everything they want when they want it. There's no margin for error anymore for the sort of wrong message, wrong time, wrong audience or product. So, there's a high expectation, and customers are now expecting the best of all brands. If they've had it from the likes of Amazon and others, they expect the same from other retailers as well. All this means if we're going to be sort of delivering the real-time marketing or life cycle marketing as well, how well do we know our customers? So I just want to throw up some sort of questions to sort of think about. So do you know how to monitor changes in consumer behaviour and act on these quickly? Do you know how to apply what you know about your consumers and turn those into personalised conversations? Do you know how long it takes for a consumer to make a return purchase and then another? And hopefully these are sort of some of the questions we'll sort of be hearing today and hopefully some answers. But do you know what your most loyal customers look like as well and how to find more of them? And it is about, do you know when they can become inactive or lapse and when you might need to then engage them? And finally, it's, do you know how to sort of shadow customers and determine when's the right time to contact them and learning their propensity to buy? So we've sort of highlighted those sort of questions in the sort of blog as well, if you want to follow up on that. We also sort of mentioned, we're trying to deliver this real-time marketing, trying to be more personalised. But, what are some of the questions we can try and answer to deliver that real-time success? So even things like, is the customer experience optimised to the device? We're certainly still finding when we look at sites, that's not necessarily the case. But if you think, if someone wants to buy something urgently or they've got a question, they're likely to use their mobile. So really sort of thinking, does everything work on sort of mobile? And then when you get to the website, is everything all sort of linked as well? Also thinking about, do you treat the customer as an individual when they get to a website? So can I automatically sign in? Am I shown sort of content and options sort of relevant for me? And really sort of trying to think about, if they try to contact you at the call centre or click to call, how well do you know them as well? Even things like, are you taking account of their past actions and behaviour? So not just what's in the shopping basket, but, other preferences, sort of circumstances sort of surrounding why they're visiting you today. And then even, are you able to respond in real time, 24/7, 365 days? Or even if you can't, are you delivering, intelligent answers back to customers as well? And I hadn't really thought the time of day when I was going to be talking about Ann Summers, but then I realised we've got Love Honey on the panel, so it all seems that we might have a bit of a theme going on. But certainly talking to retailers, it is a challenge to personalise, but how can you sort of start taking some of that data and delivering more personalised content? And it was an example with Ann Summers. So originally, sort of in the past, they were sort of segmenting 3 basic segments. So it was like the nervous, the curious, the sort of experience. And then they really sort of realised we've got lots of data. We need to take a deeper dive into our data and try and understand more about these customers. So they then came up with a whole range of segments. They had things like confused boyfriend. I think there was older woman, there was teenager, there was a present buyer, and all sorts. And what they realised they could start doing was actually, based on a customer's journey through the site and who they determined they were, what type of segment, they could take them on a different So I take them on a different journey. And, they could then start even delivering sort of context of, it's raining outside and trying to engage them and sort of put sort of perspective around the sort of visit, context around the visit. Even starting to deliver different promotions if they were new or return visitors as well. Apparently they did used to, if you were visiting the site on a mobile, class you as an adventurous buyer. So I don't know what the experience now looks like if you go on via mobile, but maybe we could try later. But certainly what we saw from our real-time marketing report is those brands that can, really deliver that real-time marketing are seeing a 26% uplift in conversion as well. So, real potential there to sort of, when companies can get it right. Also, we were talking about this just before. There is also, need to think about, but is it creepy personalization? Is it cool? Would I be expecting this to happen? So Direct Marketing Association sort of came out with, 76% of consumers will share personal information with a brand if they believe it'll improve the experience and interaction. There was some research carried out by Rich Relevance, and they looked at what consumers determined creepy and what they determined cool. So 76% said, well, actually, it's pretty cool if I can use my mobile phone, scan a product, and get some recommendations. Well, I find it 73% pretty creepy if I walk in somewhere or based on my facial recognition, I'm getting targeted advertising. And 74% were saying, well, it's creepy if the salesperson, greets me by my name based on a mobile trigger as well. So it is very much about thinking, what sort of personalization you do want to be delivering. We're also seeing brands look at, well, how can we go beyond product recommendations? So, how can we, this is Barney's in New York, how can we deliver sort of push notifications when people are in the store and deliver product recommendations that way? But, they're asking for people's sort of consent, telling them what's going to happen. And then they're also looking at what's in people's shopping basket. If they haven't bought them, then giving them sort of offers as well. So, really trying to sort of look at how we can go beyond just product recommendations. Do like this one. This is now taking, how do we involve our customers and then try and personalize and influence them to make a purchase decision. So this is the Japanese retailer Unico, and it's a campaign they were running in Australia. And they were using neuroscience, so the idea that they can suggest clothing based on your mood. So you sit in this U-mood, I think, have a wearable device on your head. It then shows you images, videos, reads your sort of brainwaves, and then determines from its sort of 600 T-shirts which one best suits your mood, whether it's calm, adventurous, or stress. So, we're even seeing brands look at things like that to sort of influence behavior. I don't know how many people have come across the L'Oreal Makeup Genius app, but you think about buying products like that online, how difficult it is to sort of understand, does that suit me? So, they've got an app that lets you see what the products look like on you and tries to influence you that way. They're also looking at, what are people searching on and making recommendations sort of based on that. So, just two examples of sort of how we're seeing retailers now trying to sort of engage consumers. In terms of sort of those retailers that have that sort of omnichannel strategy, we're really seeing that they're retaining about 90% of their sort of customers. And, what sort of a key thing in that is obviously the smartphone. So we've now got this sort of location-based advertising, a great way to try and sort of influence consumers. And you've got IAB saying, 66 of marketers believe this year that location-based advertising was going to be the most exciting mobile opportunity. And the likes of Starbucks have sort of tried that a couple of years ago. So, they were looking at location and idea of device and offering sort of promotional triggers as well. And they found from those customers, they were sending those to 100% went into the store that, obviously didn't receive one before. So, a great way that we're seeing sort of retailers look at things like location-based advertising. Talk about, I know data is probably going to come up quite a bit today, but, that if we can use the right customer data and analytics to understand and forecast and influence the behavior. So, if you can predict what your customers are going to do and use those insights to then sort of deliver relevant promotions and content to them and really try to influence that decision. And in our predictive analytics report, we found 40% of companies are now starting to use this or saying that in the next 12 months they will as well. Don't know how many people have sort of gone to Shop Direct, sort of very site, but to me, they're certainly one of the brands that are really sort of standing out in terms of the whole sort of personalization. Spoken to them a couple of times, and they've got this great goal. You know, we want to be the world's most personalised shopping experience. Last year, they sort of delivered a personalised homepage for every person that comes to the website. But they're really using it. I mean, they've got a team of data scientists. They do all their testing in-house. They're using complex algorithms. You know, they're really looking at how they can change the navigation, the content, based on what you've looked at or sort of other customers have as well. So, you know, they're really trying to introduce sort of relevance into the whole shopping experience. They originally, when I spoke to them, or when we did a webinar this year, it was 1.2 million versions of the homepage. They're now, I think, expected to be serving 3.5 million different versions of the homepage. So, you know, really going down that whole sort of personalised route in a big way. So just sort of finally, you know, we're seeing now also technology sort of really, we talked about a couple of examples there, but really enabling that whole sort of personalised experience and taking people on that journey. Got my sort of Fitbit today, but you know, wearable smart devices are considered the sort of most disruptive technology since the sort of smartphone. And we're seeing the whole area of Internet Things has really got that opportunity to take real-time marketing deeper into customers' lives. We've got that ability now to sort of drive relationships, more personalised and real-time marketing with them, and also generate that ongoing value. So, you know, you've got the likes of Walgreens in the States, so they've now linked their people's fitness tracker to loyalty points, trying to encourage you to get fit, which, you know, they're obviously concentrating on the health aspect, but also loyalty points for the store. You've obviously got the ability to now be more targeted with sort of customers. The one I quite like on the third example with Diageo and Johnny Walker. So, you know, certainly when we talk to a lot of third-party retailers, they've got the whole challenge. How do we develop the relationship ourselves with the customers when our product's being sold through, whether it's Tesco, Waitrose, Sainsbury's? And, you know, they've put sensors on the bottle. So they know when the bottle's been opened. The customer uses their smartphone app to get additional information and promotions from Johnny Walker, but then they can start actually delivering personalised content to that customer. They know who it is. So, you know, they've now suddenly, through the smart devices, got that connection with the customer they didn't have before. Also seeing the whole area of virtual reality, augmented reality. So, you know, Audi have got their virtual showroom, I think it's at Green Park, but, you know, you can now really sort of try and see what the car would look like, look at different designs. You can even have a test drive in the Audi. So you've got, you know, huge ability now to use virtual reality to sort of influence customers. The one I did like as well, you've got the virtual dressing window. So you can then see, well, what would this item of clothing look like on me, to hopefully influence that person to go and try that on and buy it. And finally, we've got this whole area, obviously, of artificial intelligence. So, you know, you've got IBM Watson AI ads now, and the idea you can ask an advert a question and get an answer. So this is 1-800-Flowers. They've been using this. And they have this, and also AI bots they've been using. So they have this concierge, gift concierge called Gwyn, gifts when you need. So the whole idea, you know, I don't need to go searching around the website to find what I want and the present for my, you know, mum, dad. I can actually ask the question and say, this is what I'm searching for. It's this age group or type of person. And it'll come back with recommendations. And it's going to start learning about you as well and making recommendations based on what they know. So, you know, we've seen this whole area now of sort of the ability to really sort of influence consumers' decisions. And just a final slide, final sort of cartoon to sort of finish on, but yeah, we want to deliver that personalised experience, we want to deliver sort of in-context sort of messages, but, you know, we still have to be careful about, you know, how personal we're being and the types of questions that we're asking people. So as I said, there's a leaflet in the pack if you do want to download the Digital Transformation in Retail Sector report. And thank you very much.